Good morning, friends. I have another poet that I want to introduce you to this morning. This is Percy Shelley. He's the guy that was married to Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. So you'll remember that he was part of that group that was, into all of that Gothic literature, but he's also one of those famous romantic poets. Okay, so I chose for our study of Shelley's work a short little poem called Ozymandias. And one of the reasons I chose it is because I think it's a fair example of how the Romantic poets used their art form to make a political statement or to express their own political views. See, Shelley was extremely critical of the British government, wasn't really a fan, and a lot of times the Romantic poets would kind of weave some of those criticisms and ideas into the poetry that they were writing, and I think you'll see that in today's poem. That being said, I think that you'll also notice some of those other characteristics of Romantic poetry that we talked about yesterday. There's certainly that love of nature, or maybe it's more of an awe in nature and how powerful nature can be. And I think you'll also notice the fascination with the past and exotic, faraway lands, because that's certainly in there as well. So today's assignment is going to be just like yesterday's, where we have a short little poem for you to read and some annotations for you to do. And then you can hop on quizzes and do another one of those little quiz games, this time just about the poem Ozymandias. And that's it. So between this video and that little bit of work, it should fall right around 30 minutes. Now, before we look at the poem by Percy Shelley, I think we need to check out our winner from yesterday's game. So let's pull it up and see who walked away with the most points yesterday. Dun, da, da, da. And there it is with 14,670 points. Way to go, Taylor! Nolan, you are a super close second. I hope you guys had fun with these. I really like them. They're a little bit quirky and with the music and the memes and so forth, but I think it's really good practice to keep you guys, reading and thinking about literature because the SAT and those AP tests, they're not going away. All that's going to come back on us eventually, so we want to keep our skills sharp. All right, way to go, Taylor. Way to go, everybody. Guys, nearly every single student. Like, I'm having great participation with all this distance learning, so I'm really, really proud of you. Keep it up. We'll try round 2 today, and that's with this poem. So let's shift over here and pull up my copy of the poem. See what I mean? It's super short. It's a sonnet. So this is Ozymandias. I'm going to read it one time for you, and then when you go back, you'll be doing, second readings and annotations. So here we go. Take a listen. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on those lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." Nothing beside them remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. I love that poem. I just love how in such a short space of time, it like packs such a punch. There's that from the imagery if I can spit it out, that use of imagery all the way from the very beginning from the very end, like it never stops. All those things that I can see in my mind's eye. And then, of course, that thematic message that's kind of hidden in there within the ruins and the message that's stamped on the ruins. That kind of expression of Shelley's own political views and the way that he's able to weave that in there. I think it's really masterful because he did it in such a short space of time. I put just a couple of things below for you to annotate. Of course, I always want you to be looking for those romantic characteristics. I think being able to have some direction on what you're looking for can really help you with your interpretation and comprehension. But also pay attention to that imagery that I love so much. And then the third one, I just think is always important, and I think it's something that we often overlook, and that's diction, that word choice. Authors use words for a reason. Okay, they're chosen on purpose for some sort of for meaning. Maybe it's trying to evoke some sort of tone, create an emotional reaction in the reader. Maybe we're promoting a central message, or we're trying to characterize in some way. So there's lots of reasons that authors choose particular diction. I just want to make sure that you guys are really paying attention to that, because anytime you do a literary analysis, no matter what your topic is, if you can kind of fall back on the skill of being able to identify significant word choice, it can really help you build an analysis paper. Okay, so short little poem, couple little things for you to annotate, and then another quiz on quizzes. It's about the same length. I think they range 10 to, I don't think any of them is over maybe 17 or 18 questions. So shouldn't take you very long between this video and all of this, maybe 30 minutes, as I said. So that's it for today. I think you will have a wonderful Wednesday afternoon weather-wise. So hopefully you guys can get outside a little bit and get some fresh air. Keep social distancing, okay? Socially, make it all virtual, but publicly, let's stay away from each other. I know it's a rough time, but we're going to get through it. So stay strong and stay positive. And while I won't see you tomorrow, you will see me. Bye.